Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 6928 Southeast Langwood Street here in Hillsboro. Located just to the right of the door. We've got a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running, we're going to zero out, and I can already tell you I'm probably going to recommend cleaning on the line. As you can see, big thick layer of grease buildup there. My zero button worked there. Anyway, we'll see here in just a second. Sometimes the camera, it depends on the grease buildup. Sometimes if you get a good even combo of grease and paper products, the camera will actually scrape a lot of it loose, but we shall see. It's at this point right here, once you get a continuous layer of it across the full flow line, basically throughout the line, is where I start to recommend cleaning on it, and it's going to be at that point here. Transitioning here to 4-inch PVC. In fact, it looked like we bumped to 4-inch pipe just before getting to that point. You can see my camera's kind of scraping a bunch of stuff up in front of the camera lens right now, which is, I think, why it looked like we were in a belly there a moment ago. We've got to let this clear out. Most of it's just debris. But that right there is the exact reason why you want to avoid putting grease down the line. As you can see, it's not just grease. Paper products start to stick to it too. And that's where you get your high potential for buildup and or blockages. And when you get blockages in greased up pipe like this, they tend to block much more effectively. It's a lot less likely for a blockage to break loose naturally under head pressure when you've got grease buildup in the line. So your line has an easier time blocking under more proper usage scenarios, not just simply abusive ones like when wipes and things like that go down the line. All right, there's the main there. Oh, my water flow cut out there for a second. Probably waiting for it to overwhelm the buildup behind us. It'll start catching back up here in a second, probably. Alright, located the camera head successfully. The line here does almost a dead straight shot to the main. At least visually speaking, that's up here. Well, as we back out here, we'll see how many twists and turns there are, but where I'm hitting the main lateral here and turning back and looking back at the house, I'm essentially staring straight back at the cleanout. And we might see a little bit of water still trickling off when I scrape all that debris loose. What it does is it creates little miniature debris dams. So as the camera goes back through here, it'll kind of start dislodging some of that stuff, and you would probably see a little bit of water break loose here and there. I've had the water turned off now for a couple minutes. And I'll stop periodically just to make sure, but if we hit any standing water here, any true standing water that isn't related to debris dams, the camera is going to dive underwater. It'll be obvious. You know, stuff like this is kind of what I'm referring to here, this kind of gunk. So far, it looks like all of it's flowing off, but that's what caused that water to stop there for a moment. Was enough of that stuff sloughed off into the middle of the flow line that it causes the line to dam up. And water is still trickling through here as I pull through each one of these spots of buildup. So it's anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. Some places it's worse than that, it looks like, but the line is very much in need of a cleaning. And once it's cleaned out, you can mitigate that buildup entirely just by living habits. All the PVC pipe there, all of it appears to be in good shape. If you were to subtract the grease from the equation, all looks like it's going to drain off proper. The water line there was so minimal that any water that was still running through there is just related to the grease catching it. You can see the camera busted some of the stuff loose, but not all of it. And I'll flip the camera around here for just a moment to go backwards. We're going to have a much worse view going backwards because the water's off right now. But if I start seeing it going back into the home, I'll recommend an end-to-end cleaning on it. And that is something I can handle. I actually have a really cool machine for being able to run backwards. A lot of companies will not jet backwards into a home. And yes, the line very much needs degreasing going back into the home too. Like, it's even thicker going backwards. And you'll often see that with households that by and large use cold water to wash their dishes. You'll get heavier grease buildup on the interior, where homes that always use hot water to wash their dishes, you will get very little grease buildup on the inside of the home, and most all of it will build up on the outside where the pipe is underground. That's where the water starts to rapidly cool off once it gets to the exterior. So all the piping here looks like it's in good condition. Again, subtracting the grease from the equation looks like it has proper flow and functionality. Right now with the grease buildup in the line is draining slower than it should, and I do highly recommend cleaning the line. And as long as you don't keep putting grease down there, the line will not build back up like that. That's all living habit related there.